Hi, my name is Angela Faith Harvey. I'm doing another video for this week's quest, which is the scavenger hunt. I quite enjoy this one because this is something kinda I do on a normal basis because I am happy and love my home. I live in Tennessee in the Sevier County area, so we are surrounded by nature, so it's always kind of like will be my home in a way, where I use it towards relaxation, is escaping to nature from times. And for this one, I did it when I was taking my dog on walks, and I get to see this beautiful scenery all day. So for starters, for the 5 things I saw would be on the way here would be spiders making their webs. I also, it was kind of around our house, or let me say around my mother's house. I live in an apartment complex, so I stay with her for a couple of days a week. But around her place, they have so many different kinds of bugs. You will always find little ants, you'll find giant spiders, which fun. Seeing them weave their webs and making these beautiful homes for themselves around the place. Another one I saw was hummingbirds swarming around her feeders and getting their nectar, swarming around other flowers around them, around her deck. And then the third thing I saw was the light shining through the trees. Oh, it's so gorgeous. You just look up and see a little sunshine through these little crevices in the leaves, which luckily we still have some up with fall coming around the corner. So gorgeous. So for the 4th thing, I saw squirrels jumping through each tree, going through each branch. And then I also saw on our way towards our walks with my little pup, I also saw dogs protecting their own territory, their fierce stance where they wouldn't leave. Now onto the feel. With one of the first things I came to mind with this when going through this walk would be the sunshine on my back, that little ray of heat, which was so unique because for the second thing I felt cool breezes. So it's always unique aspect towards thinking about is always having that sunshine, that beating heat, but then you have the wind chill in the air. Just something else I felt. Another thing was my dog's a little wild gal. So another thing I felt was her tugging on her leash, being like, let's get on it, her energy. And then another thing I felt was when watching the trees sway back and forth with the wind, it gave it this calming feeling that kind of took over me and made me feel relaxed, kind of ready to take a nap, to be honest, of just the swayingness of it. Now, 3 things I hear. Ooh, with all this area comes with all different noises, but very peaceful. And I'm gonna have to stop this for a second. Sorry about that, there's a car driving by. So let's get back to where we started. Okay, so I talked about, we're on to the hearing part. This is actually my favorite part of it because with living in the woods for all of my life, you hear all these noises that's so small and significant, but brings such a bigger picture towards it. It's one of my favorite out of all the 4. I love hearing these small sounds. The first one, since it is, you can feel the fall coming. With the fall of the leaves and the acorns, you can hear the acorns drop down and make that little thud. It doesn't sound like that, if you could hear that. But it just makes these little thuds noises where it's just a little tiny ball bouncing to the ground. Then the second thing I hear is all the birds and the bugs and the bees, all the animals around making their noises of just talking to each other. You hear the crows make their majestic noise. You hear all the cicadas and everything. And then the last noise I heard is kind of similar to the first one, but definitely different approach, is dogs barking from afar. Kind of spooked my little one. But it kind of makes them more, you can tell they're ready for something with the ferociousness in it, which kind of differentiates from hearing the birds' noise or the bees or the bugs, because I like how I'm saying bees and bugs as if they're not the same, but they differentiate from each other because you can kind of hear it where it seems like more communication compared to the dogs, which is more of protection, which they have aggressiveness in their tones. Now, what I smelled on this trip. I'm gonna stop it again. We're almost getting there. More cars. All right. The smells. Okay. So, one smell that was very potent. Oh, not potent, like, but very, not the greatest smell. Kind of familiarized it with my childhood. Is the residue from cigarettes in their smoke. You can definitely smell it a little around, especially around my house, since my family likes to smoke. So you definitely get that tanginess in the air. Then when you go out and further into it, where you're walking around these areas with all these trees and grass, you can smell that freshness, that sense of kind of clarity in a way, where it just feels like a pure sip, where it is more nice, where you just can smell the grass. And then for the final thing, which is the taste. For my taste, it was more of, I didn't really taste anything crazy on this trip. Like when focusing on it, it's more of tasting the residue, not like residue, but like the aftertaste of my drink. Because I can drink a soda and you can still feel the carbonation a tiny bit. Like it's obviously faded away, but you still taste that little bit. You taste that soda. The flavoring wise, it's like still on the tip of your tongue. And for this, that is everything that I found on my scavenger hunt. Hi, I just rewatched my video and realized I wasn't really a fan of my conclusion towards it. So that's why it might be a little bit of a weird cut towards it. But I just finished, well, it's been a little while since I finished my mindful scavenger hunt, and here is how I felt afterwards. It definitely brings the calmness towards it, because it was really cool doing something like that during a task that you do every day, like walking your dog, or if you're going to sit down somewhere, taking a break to do that. It gives it this nice calming kind of meditational view, where you can take a breather, like smell the roses, and gives it a breath away for when you're having like extreme anxiety towards something, you're stressed out, you're towards your work, towards schooling, towards it all, where you're feeling confused. It adds on towards that. And my biggest takeaway that I want for this to move forward is to put that in my everyday, but in more details, not just like everyday, just being here. Like if I ended up, I feel like this was easier for me because this is something I kind of have done in the past to help cope with certain things, is because, again, I would escape in the woods for my escapism with some things. But with my thing I want to help moving forward is being able to do this in any kind of environment. Like let's say if I move somewhere and I don't have the scenery and it's something brand new, like a city life, or to be able to do this, to be able to go to a park or go somewhere else and be able to take these steps to help with that mindfulness and help bring a form of meditation towards my life, towards relaxation, Well, thank you so much for watching.